Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Vinny Costa, editor of Street Muscle Magazine, your host of the RodCAST. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Greg Acosta, and we have a lot to talk about today. Namely, a few things that we didn't get to talk about on our first two episodes. If you watched those, our last one was with Blaine Burnett of Hawley. We talked about everything LS Fest. Make sure you go to the Street Muscle Facebook page and check that one out. In the first episode, we were introducing some of our recurring characters on the show. Mainly staff. And today I want to talk to you, Greg, about the origins of the RodCAST. We didn't get to cover it too much in episode one because, we were busy introducing everybody who was going to have a recurring role in the show. But I think it's important to talk to our audience and let them know that, more about what we do. And that was kind of like the idea behind the RodCAST, right? Give people a more of an in-depth look at our day-to-day as automotive journalists, as editors, etc. And what we do is so much not just one facet of motorsports. It's not like drag racing or drifting or cars and coffee or whatever. It's more than that. It's about a culture that's around the automobile. I mean, the internal combustion changed everything, man. And so much of our daily lives is affected by, the cars that we drive, and they're an extension of who we are. And so I think that's why people connect with them so much. And what we do is important. We owe it to our readers, our viewers, our listeners to provide something to them, whether that's educating them about new products on the market, new vehicles that are coming out, or entertaining them with cool videos or RodCasts. So I just wanted to touch on that, Greg, and get your thoughts on the origins of all this and why what we do is important.
Well, I mean, for me, automotive stuff is passion. This is all passion. Everything we do. I mean, all of our titles are passion fueled. As much as I'd like to be like, Engine Labs is tech. Well, what fuels tech? Passion. I mean, that's some heavy lifting. I mean, like I've always said, I'm a nerd. I just happen to be a nerd about cool stuff. It's a passion. It's not, it's not school. If you wanted to make me a nerd about something else.
No, man, I get it. Yeah, I'm guessing like you, most of our viewers, our listeners, I've been ensconced in anything that has to do with cars since I was a little kid. Really anything with wheels and tires, motorcycles, big trucks, whatever. It's all really cool. And like I said, dude, I mean, what we do is tapping directly into a passion that people have because they are extensions of ourselves, right? Like whether you're driving
very much
a clapped out, jalopy or a Prius or a van or whatever, man, or a turbo Mustang. It says a lot about a person. And I think that's why people are so in tune with this.
Well, I mean, I can say from even when I had cars that were just daily drivers and I'm not doing anything to them and I'm not touching them, there was still stuff done to them. I think there was one car in my entire life I managed to not do anything to, and that was a 2007 Honda Civic that I just put 180,000 miles on to get me to and from work. But I don't know how I managed to not do anything to it, but that was the only one. I mean, even my SUV that I just got out of that was so boring, man, I had way more than I even thought about into it. And I figured it out when I had to pull it all out. But everything's a reflection, whether you want it to be or not. The fact that it's not a reflection is in itself a reflection. So,
I mean, that you said it right there, man. It's it affects every part of your daily life, right? It's like a huge decision. My mom always told me that there's like a few purchases in your life that that you should really pay attention to how you're spending your money, and those are your television set, the bed you sleep on, and your car, because you use them, a lot. You use those things a lot. I don't watch TV as much as I used to, but I certainly use my bed and my car a lot, and so I think that was wise advice. I just, to your point, I mean, it's a big decision when you're thinking about buying a new car, whether you're purchasing a classic car, a new car, something to get you from point A to point B. It's a huge decision. It's a huge investment, and it's not one that should be taken lightly. You have some experience with that just recently, right? With your Mustang, which brings up a topic that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted a fun car. My SUV was eminently practical for where I live. All-wheel drive. It was still a little sporty, and that I use that term very loosely. It did everything I needed to do, but it did it in the most boring way possible. It was boringly reliable. I mean, there was not even I didn't even need to carry a tool set in it. I mean,
but yeah, I love that saying, dude. What is it? Street rodders have lawn chairs in their trunk. Hot rodders have a toolbox.
Yeah. I mean, this thing was literally when I got it, it had the whole rear end was full of go supplies, ready to go, toolkits and stuff. And that all got pulled out within a year. But I needed something fun. And around here, there's not a whole lot of, places to go straight, so you can't really, I didn't really need something with a ton of power.
You're in Arizona, but what part, Greg?
I'm up in Prescott. So,
okay.
Literally from my house, you have to go 5 miles to get out of the 45-mile-an-hour zone. And then you got to go another hour to get up to 75. So, I was looking at, twisty cars. I was going import, I did it in my youth. But what I found was none of them were me.
Well,
I looked at an FRS. Greg. Yeah, well, but I got an FRS on paper. An FRS should be a fun, cheap car that handles on rails.
They're actually really sharp looking cars.
Yeah. They are. And when I went to the first Ford dealership to look at the Mustang, the sales manager happened to have one, personally, and he let me get in it. And he was probably 3 inches taller than me, and I didn't fit. Wow. I don't know how he drove it. He threw me the keys and was like, take it around the block. I'm like, I don't think I can get out of this, let alone drive it. So that was gone. 370Z, nobody's going to deny that that's a sports car. The problem is around here, anybody with a VQ, 22, 23 years old, straight piped, vape smoke rolling out. I mean, I can't be, that's not my scene. Maybe when I was 20, but that's not my scene.
I couldn't see you in a 370, man. A great car, but I don't think it fits your personality.
It wasn't me. I mean, on paper, it's cool and it's affordable, but it's not me. And then the Mustang, I sat in it before I even started the engine. And I'm like, I was trying to give everything else a shot, because I've got the 94 Mustang sitting in my driveway. The Mustang was the right choice. And then test driving, it just confirmed everything. I mean, it's comfortable. It's fast. I got a lot of crap because it's the Turbo 4. I have a GT that's my bad idea lightning rod. I can do stupid stuff to that. This is a daily driver. And man, that thing's fun. There's also quite a little weight reduction on the 4 versus the 8. And with all the modern stuff today, this thing, you don't feel its weight. It feels lighter when I'm driving it than my 94, which is probably 400 pounds lighter in actuality. And you want to get into personality, it's a super high tech, thing. And that's me, it's got so much whiz bang gadgetry in it. And that's fun for me, so
that's what's crazy about these modern cars, man. I mean, that thing makes what, 300 something horsepower?
It's the high performance. So 330 and 350.
Dude, how many, you had a New Edge Mustang, right? I had a New Edge Mustang, and it was a GT. And I remember at the time I thought oh man, this thing's pretty quick. And they're making, factory 260 horsepower, right? And now you're talking about a turbo 4-cylinder Mustang making 330 horsepower, and not even the GT, the SN95, right? What is it? The 05 to
the S197s.
S197, thank you. The 05 to 09. Even that thing didn't make 330, I don't think, right? It made 3 something.
Yeah, I think it made 305 or 307 or some oddball.
And then you
But I mean,
pair that with like modern suspension, modern, like
yeah,
all the modern gadgetry that you're talking about, and it's, man, it makes this what would have been a boring car back in the day, because this isn't the first time Ford has made a 4-cylinder Mustang, and it's transformed it into this really badass car. That's awesome.
yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, let's just look at power. There is not a single Cobra until you get forced induction that made more power than the 4-cylinder. Like 0304 Cobras, and then going into, obviously that's 197 Shelbys. But before that, I mean, I would kill for an SN95 Cobra. I think they're awesome. That's why I put the Cobra front on my car. But this daily driver base model makes more power.
What, I mean, dude, do you think there's ever been a better time to be in the market for a new sports car?
No.
I don't think so, man. Even in the heyday, like the muscle car era, the muscle car era, because I think we're in the muscle car era right now.
Oh, absolutely. Look at Dodge. I mean, perfect example. Everybody's like, oh, they have 27 different, variants that are all just little tweaks. They are catering to their audience.
Dude, that's been their thing. That's their MO since day one. You go back to like the 70s, like that time frame. Dodge was so far ahead of their time as far as marketing was concerned. They knew we need to get the youth on board with what we're doing. And how do we do that? We offer them a bunch of different modification options. And they might be small, like small changes here and there, but it's about personalization, customization, and the passion that the potential owner has for that car. And it's genius. And they carry that over today. Just like you said, there's so many options for feasibly the same car, but you make it your own from the factory. And that's invaluable to a car person.
I mean, think about it. Seriously. Do you need 4 doors? Well, okay, but that you can still have your 707 horsepower, even though you need 4 doors. Like, sure,
that's a grocery.
We got you. Yeah. It's I'm not a Dodge guy. I've never been really a Mopar guy. I mean, I've always been a Ford guy, whatever. But Dodge is doing it right. They have the right mindset on how they're offering stuff, and it is very reminiscent of the olden days.
Yeah, man, you talk about like back in the day, the rapid transit system and like the whole that whole marketing ploy, the paint chip CUDA, like everything they were doing at that time was genius. They had the Hang 10 Dart, which was like a crazy car. Like it was, they made like a couple thousand of them, came with a surfboard because they wanted to tap into a burgeoning surf market. Like they were all over the place, but it did well for them because, I mean, if you look at the classic muscle car market, what are worth the most? What are most sought after? What are the most difficult to attain? They're all Mopar.
And the thing is, it's not like they didn't make very many of them because they made plenty.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it shows up here, like up here where I am. I mean, this is a little bit more of a country town area, but I mean, I would say almost 4-1, it's Mopars. And that is really weird because it's like a hot rod town.
Yeah,
like I would expect Chevy, it's definitely, Challenger, Camaro, and then Mustang out here, which is just really weird. Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, what part of that do you think stems from the fact that the Challenger has been around for 12 plus years now? I mean, that body style, I mean, it's been around for a while.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? And that says something about Dodge, I think. They've kept it around. It's not really that big of a deal for you to go out and buy a 10-year-old one, for, I don't know what, $16,000, $18,000.
Well, no, much less than that. I mean, I've been doing a little bit of shopping.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but yeah, I mean, you can get some pretty badass cars for not a lot of money. As a matter of fact, Greg, we were talking about something that we saw on Dodge Garage website just the other day, and that's kind of what spurred this whole conversation because you went through a similar situation when you were shopping for your Mustang. Can you pull that up real quick?
Yeah, let me grab that.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, it was it was a series of questions that they had posted on Dodge Garage, which is sort of an online forum for Dodge owners. Bunch of news and industry related stuff as far as Dodge is concerned. A bunch of reader owned rides that people post up onto the site. Different videos and things that Dodge finds to be relevant. They posted up on Dodge Garage, and this one was part of a blog entry. And I thought the author had posed some great questions. Greg's got it pulled up here.
Yeah, I mean it's they're asking, it's about the ride, right? And that's a pretty legit statement. They're asking what fits your personality. What are you going to do with it? When it came to me, I needed something that was fun. I needed something.
Scroll back up, Greg. There you go. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. And I needed something that was, I wasn't going to fall asleep driving, which is why I bought a stick. Yeah, I know the stick is gone. I know that the 10-speed transmission that was an option is amazing and way better. But I wanted a stick. It
depends on who you're talking to. I mean, define better.
Okay, it's faster.
But better for what reason? I mean, performance, sure. Drivability, enjoyability, I don't know.
I mean, they've got the paddle shifters. It's certainly fun. It's definitely not boring. But it wasn't enough. I wanted a clutch. I wanted an H pattern shifter. That's kind of what I grew up in and cut my teeth in, and that's what I wanted to get back to. And I mean, yeah, I haven't put a ton of miles on the car yet, but I haven't regretted the stick in the slightest. I mean, I used to drive 160 miles a day in Southern California traffic with a stick shift. Like whatever they can throw at me here, stick isn't going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, until you're an old man, then your ankle and your knee and your hip aren't going to be liking you too much. But
I'm not old and my body's not broken yet. Like I'm going to enjoy it while I can. Like, yeah, you're right. That is coming. But thankfully, I mean, look at the 10-speed. There's going to be a fun option for people that can't shift, with their left leg.
Greg, I want to just read this little segment real quick. That way our viewers know what we're talking about. I think you can read it on there, but we'll just, for people who aren't watching, just listening, when you're looking for your next Dodge brand vehicle, we'll insert any brand vehicle, but this happens to be on Dodge Garage. So Dodge brand vehicle, think about the ride. We're not just talking about how smooth these machines ride either. We're talking about the experience. What car fits all the things and people you love? Which one fits your personality? Which one has the style that makes the hair on your arm stand up straight? And for Greg, it was a Mustang. For our viewers, our listeners, our readers, let us know in the comment section which one does all those things for you. Don't be brand myopic. Let us know. Even import people, you can comment to. We won't hold it against you.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing about import guys that they often get just glossed over. You talk about passion. Import guys have passion. They have passion to the nth degree. It's impressive.
Well, a lot of these, what I've found, a lot of these modern muscle car owners are guys who are, maybe in their mid to late 20s, who have, a stable job. They're making some decent money, but maybe when they were a little bit younger, they were into imports because that was what was readily available. That you could go and buy a 240 for a couple grand. You can buy a Honda Civic for, $500 or whatever, and work on it with your buddies and, have some good times and go race and kind of mess around. But now that they're getting a little bit older, they have more options and they have more money. And now they can buy, Camaros and Mustangs and Chargers and Challengers. So I think these enthusiasts are one and the same. I don't think that, people who are still in imports get a lot of flack because they're, they've kind of gone by the wayside, or maybe not, but the amount of enthusiasts I don't think is as great anymore. I think they've, there's been a big transition because these cars are readily available.
Well, I think also too that the whole import thing has kind of merged into the mainstream as you're just maybe an automotive enthusiast now, because import isn't this counterculture that, because I mean, think about it. In the early 2000s, when you heard import, you thought neon lights, bump and bass, fart cans,
Body kits.
Yeah, I mean, that was the stigma. And now, if you think 2019, 2020, think Japanese performance, it's way more elegant now.
Yeah, but a lot of that still carries over. Like what I'm saying, these guys who have these muscle cars, I see them putting these big stickers on these cars. I see them doing a bunch of the stuff that they were doing with their, 240s and their RX-7s, and like I see them doing the same thing. I mean, even leaving leaving like the splitter guards on these, Dodges, like that's kind of rice, bro. I mean, don't you think? Isn't that ricey? I don't know.
Man, I'm not going to get into that because I have seen people defend that like you're talking about their brother or their sister. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that.
Light me up in the comments, everybody. Let me know if you leave your splitter guards on because you shouldn't. That's ridiculous. That's not what they're for.
The splitter guard actually has molded into it dealer to remove. Like they're supposed to be removed.
Yeah.
It's molded into the part.
Well, there were people going to Dodge to like try and buy them. Like they were like, oh yeah, I have like a base RT, but I got this, Hellcat lip and I want to put these splitter guards on it. And it's like, no, dude, get out of here.
Yeah, and I've seen the pool noodles.
To my point, that's it's part of that culture.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think that noodles might be generational more than brand. If you think about it, because that's an age thing. That's we grew up in that era, and I mean a perfect example is Barrett Jackson. When I went there a couple of years ago, Craig Jackson was talking about how you're starting to see a lot more like Skylines and FDRX7s coming up for auction with them because these were supercars to us as kids, and now we have money.
Dude, I mean, they still are.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Barrett Jackson, what do you think of when you hear Barrett Jackson? 68 Camaro for $250,000, right?
I think of the Monopoly man with his monocle, like walking around looking at like, I don't know.
But I mean,
crazy Rolls Royce from like 1930.
I mean, but for him to even acknowledge that it's a generational thing, I think that says a lot because that dude has his finger on the pulse of stuff.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I mean, I remember when the first Fast and Furious came out, and I might catch hell for this, but like, dude, I thought that was the coolest thing because up until that point, I was, oh man, maybe like 10 or 11 when that movie came out. And, so I was too young. Like I didn't know about Vanishing Point. I didn't know about Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. I didn't know about Bullet. I mean, those were all way before my time. Yeah. And so this was the first like car movie for me. What I perceived was like, oh, this is for me. I like this. This is awesome. So even though I loved classic cars, it was just like something different. And dude, I wanted an RX-7 with a PlayStation in the center console and like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted that, bro. So to your point, now millennials were of a certain age and we got a little bit more dough, some of us anyways. And so it makes sense. It's come full circle. It's pretty cool. The passion lives on.
Well, and the thing is too, there's so many options out there now that even though you wanted an RX-7 now, that buying power is think about it. For 25 grand, let's just use a 25 grand number. How many cool cars are there?
A lot. Yeah. Oh man, for 25 grand, I could get a bunch of cool cars.
Like, and 25 grand, I don't think is that unattainable for your average person.
No, that's the whole thing. If you have a good job, decent, steady job, and you have a decent credit score, dude, there's no better time to be in the sports car market because you could literally go to any dealership in America with the decent credit, a good job, and come out with a high performance muscle car. Yeah. Financed over 70 months or whatever at a decent payment. I mean, it's pretty crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is, it's not like you have to spend, you don't buy a car and then go spend 20 grand to make it fast. You are buying it fast.
Yeah. Dude, you buy it and you go to the track the same day and run 12s. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh god. We're just thinking about like the Fox Body Mustang stuff and how much it took to run, 12s after you bought the car. I mean, there were guys throwing warranties out the window the second they bought it just to do it. And now warranty, like on my car, I have track mode. And I was like, oh yeah, that voids my warranty, right? And the dealer was like, no, they wouldn't give it to you if you can't use it.
That's dope. Well, I mean, dude, you start thinking about it. It's like, if you have enough scratch, right, you can go buy a Hellcat Red Eye. And I just wrote an article on it. Go to streetmusclemag.com and check it out. It's called Cracking the Hellcat Code, how Diablo Sports a Red Eye goes nines. And literally all they did was a pulley change on the blower and a tune. They put some drag radials on it and, changed the wheels and tires. But other than that, I mean, that's all they did. And they're running 9 seconds, like low nines too, a 9.2. That's insane.
That's a level of performance that I don't think anybody ever predicted we'd get to off the showroom floor. I mean, obviously we've been doing it since the 50s, but it's a great time technology-wise to be a horsepower fan. I mean, perfect example. I can go right now and go throw up an article on Engine Labs about a 750 horsepower LS. You know what the top 10 comments are going to be? Only 750 horsepower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, only 750. Sloppy Mechanics made 1100 with the same parts.
Yeah, man.
Like, think about those numbers, like not comparing them to each other, just actual numbers. And the fact that you're maybe, on the 750, you're maybe $3,000 or $4,000 in.
Okay. All right. So it comes down to this for me right now, because I'm actually in the market. I mean, it's tax season, as everyone knows, and I'm considering making like a sale of one of my vehicles and possibly purchasing a new vehicle. So I'm at a bit of a crossroads, Greg. Either I keep my same old vehicle and then maybe purchase another classic shitbox like I have so many of to fulfill that want, right? Or I sell a couple of things, I take my savings and I go and I finance something, right? Let's say I have, 20 grand is the cap, right? Like that's, I don't necessarily want to finance 20, but that's the cost of the vehicle, right? What are my options? If that's where I want to go, what would you do? What would you tell somebody who was like, hey man, I got 20 grand. I want to go buy a used car. What is your recommendation as the editor of Engine Labs?
You know it's going to be something Ford from me, but that's not true because you and I were talking, and when you pulled up all those our Challenger RTs, I don't know for that
hard
budget
to argue with, man.
Yeah, I don't know that you beat that for that budget because I mean they're so affordable. For my personal situation, I think the perfect mix is to have a shitbox, a nice fun car, and then something to haul the parts. Now for me, the parts hauler is still a shitbox. I mean, there's a little bit of nerve-wracking getting in it, but you know what? It's a 94 Exploder.
Well, that's the whole thing. I'd be like too worried that about getting into a nice car, right? So viewers, I had a 6th gen Camaro, and by far my favorite car I've ever owned. And that includes my Firebird, which is that's my baby. That includes every car I've ever owned. And it's a lot. It was fantastic, but it was plagued with problems. It ended up being a lemon, but the amount of time that I had it where it was running good, I loved it. So got rid of it. And ever since then, I've wanted to get something, but every time I drove that car, Greg, I felt like, this is too nice for me. I'm used to driving cars with no AC, making crazy rattling noises. They're fast, but they're so sketchy. So you're doing let's say you crack it open and you're doing 120. It feels like you're, a monkey in a rocket ship. And, that Camaro, open it up to do 140, and this was on a private closed road, but
in Mexico.
Yeah, in Mexico. But you open it up and you're doing 140, and the thing's on rails. It's just you're floating, man. I felt so comfortable. I was like, this is too nice. I'm not scared at this speed, and I probably should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Even though it's smooth, kinetic energy is still kinetic energy. But they're so much safer. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I used to commute in a road race car. I mean, I drove 160 miles a day with a window net. Like,
no shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. The look of California Highway Patrol when they look over and you're looking back at them through a window net. I mean, all they do is shake their head and drive off because I was going exactly the speed limit.
Yeah, I was gonna say they never popped you with the lights, huh?
No, I mean, I drove like a grandma. I was terrified. It was a giant rolling "give me a ticket" sign. But there's something to be said for that raw feeling. I mean, I had one seat. I had the driver's seat. There was nothing else in the car. There was a roll cage.
What car was this?
It was my Focus. Like it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was a road race car. I mean, this was a road race car.
I love Focuses, man. They're so cool.
But I don't know if I grew out of it or that just burned me. But at this point, I'm ready for comfort. Like that, and that's why the modern muscle thing is so appealing to me, because I can have all this and be sitting in like a throne.
Bro, that Camaro I had was insane. Heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel. I mean, heads up display. Like I had the 2SS, right? I wanted the 1LE, but they were really hard to find, and I got a smoking deal on that one that I got. And dude, the amount of like gadgetry and stuff that was going on in that cockpit, and that's really what it was, dude. It was a cockpit.
Yeah.
And it was a manual, so it was so much fun to drive, and it really felt like, dude, I'm in should they sell these to people? I feel like you should have to take a class to like drive this.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I think, I mean, not to go too far off the rails, and that's funny. It's a double entendre, and you'll see why in a minute. I think that's why there's the whole meme of Mustang owners driving into crowds. I mean, you're literally giving people who probably came from a front wheel drive car a ton of power. I don't know why you don't see it as much with, Camaros and Mopars, which is weird because you get even more power with Mopars, but maybe they're a little more expensive. So it's a little, you're getting a little more experienced driver. I don't know. But I think that is a direct correlation with the whole Mustangs taking out crowds meme. And that's because you're giving them so much power.
Greg.
Yeah.
Mustangs taking out crowds is nothing to joke about. I'm just kidding. Those memes are hilarious, bro. Yeah, they're like, I'll be honest with you. When I had that New Edge, I spun out a lot. And I don't know why. I never did it in any of my other cars. It was just the Mustang. I don't know why. Tail happy or something. But
I mean, I know that my SN95 tried to kill me on a regular basis up here, but that was my fault. That was because I had a locker in the 9-inch in the back, and there's dirt and dust and gravel all over these roads. So I knew that wasn't the Mustang's fault. That was my fault for how I built it. But it tried to kill me. Regularly.
I wonder if like the Mustang engineers are like toiling away, like, we got to do something about these memes, Greg. We got to do something about these. Yeah, we can't have people joking about this anymore.
I mean, they obviously have, because my car, I mean, I go through 3 roundabouts to get anywhere. The thing handles like it's on rails. I mean, holy crap. Dude,
did you see that video of that guy just plowing through that roundabout and it launching his car?
Yes, I did. And it was a drunk chick. Like,
man.
It was a drunk girl in her BMW, and that's I mean, she took out was it a 6th gen Camaro with the Boulder?
Yeah. So
like, oh my god, that was insane.
Hey, see if you can pull up that video. It's so gnarly.
But yeah, I mean, it was terrifying because the amount of energy to move that boulder, that's just terrifying. Was there like a report that said how fast she was going? It's insane. Like, she vaults this thing like she's Evel Knievel. It was crazy. Let's see if I can find it. I don't even know. Oh man, I just typed in roundabout launch, and there are a lot of different videos. Apparently, this isn't uncommon.
I guess is a common issue.
Should we build a
Dude,
car
so
to do
what's the deal
this?
with the roundabouts, anyways?
Apparently, they're a little more efficient with traffic circles, or they
Yeah, I know,
flow
but
more
that's like
cars.
it's like a European thing, though, right?
Yeah, it came from Europe, but
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I mean, because they put them in areas where there's not a lot of traffic, so it's not like we need the traffic capacity. It's like somebody went to a civil engineering seminar and got sold on roundabouts, and now they're putting them everywhere. And they're
That's
actually
exactly what I was thinking. Like,
yeah, they're
weird.
some
City planners like, we need roundabouts. Well, give us all the roundabouts.
Yeah, I'm not finding any. Everything I find. Oh, here it is. Oh, it was an M4. It was a BMW M4. No wonder it had so much inertia.
I'm not like a huge Euro fan per se, but the M series BMWs are they're epic cars, man. They're really cool.
All right, I think I've got this. Let's see if I can share it. Oh, and I believe for legal reasons we have to say she was allegedly drunk.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh,
I mean,
run that one back. There's multiple angles.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, here we go. Okay.
I mean, she's just boom.
Oh my god.
I mean,
that's brutal, man.
I think they show in it. Yeah, here it is. Because there's the 6th gen.
Yeah. No, it's a 5th gen, but still.
Oh, 5th gen. Okay.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
Can you imagine being that Camaro?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Coming out to your car in the morning, like, what the?
Well, look, there he says, what just happened? Like,
was that a boulder?
I mean,
oh no, babe, it's Transformers. It's really happening. Oh man.
I mean, that was.
Anyways,
yeah, I mean it's. I couldn't even imagine being that guy.
It's crazy.
I can't.
But hey, so before we kind of wrap things up, what do you have going on, man? What have you been working on? What's going on with Engine Labs? Do you have anything exciting coming out that you're working on as far as tech or announcements or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I've been working on a new engine feature with EFIU and Ben Strader. He has another 10,000 RPM LS that he's built. It's basically for his competition engine development class. He took what he learned with Spinal Tap, and he's basically teaching people with it. So I'm doing a profile on that. That's going to be super cool. And then awesome. We actually have another engine build from the first season of Horsepower Wars, Team Stinky Pinky. Their engine builder got a hold of me and was like, hey, I know you like Barrett engines, and I don't know if you know what a Barrett is, but it's the Ford inline 6 from Australia. He's doing a build for a customer. So he got me the photos for that, and we're working on that. So that's going to be really cool because, yes, I do like Barretts.
That's dope.
So those are two of the cooler things that are coming in the next few weeks.
Dude, 2 comments on both of those things. The Barrett engine, dude, I posted a photo of a 67 or 68 Camaro with a Barrett engine swapped in it, and dude, the comments went like gangbusters. People were like so in their feelings about it, like, this is ridiculous. Why would you do that? You're just making it slow. And it was so funny. It was hilarious. And then the other thing, for our viewers and listeners and readers who don't know, tell us a little bit about Spinal Tap. You said that he learned some stuff from Spinal Tap, and it's carrying over into this new engine project. Fill us in.
All right. Well, Spinal Tap was Ben Strader's little brainchild. He was hanging out with, I believe, and if I get this wrong, I'm sorry, Ben. He was hanging out and someone said something like, "Oh, it would be cool if you could make an LS engine spin to 11,000 RPM." Actually, I believe it was 10,000. And he said, "Why not 11?
Yeah,
turn it up to 11."
He said, "Well, these ones go to 11." Yeah,
yeah, and that started the process. It was a 3-year process, and he involved some like serious heavy hitters in the industry, like Billy Godbold from Comp Cams. They did all the research and development work, and they have a stable valve train at over 11,000 RPMs in an LS. I mean, it's an incredible story, and we've done a couple engine features on it. We talked about the valve train. I've actually gotten to turn a couple bolts on that engine myself, because when I went up there, he had it there.
Walk us through some of the parts list that it would take to do something like that.
Oh man, he's got valve springs that are higher rate than your average suspension spring. I want to say they were like 1,200 pounds open. It took 3 of us to install a valve spring on the cylinder head.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was, I mean, my arm was sore for, a day and a half afterwards. It was nuts. And I mean, and I only did like 2 of them. Ben's sitting there trying to do it with him and one of his guys. And it's like,
who did he get to make those for him?
I think that was PSI. I'd have to go back and check. I don't know all the specs of the engine off the top of my head, but
what about the bottom end?
The bottom end was it was a billet crank, but I don't remember whose.
No,
it's 358 cubic inches. And
I imagine you're going to run, billet bottom end.
Yeah, aluminum rods. And the pistons weren't really that crazy.
You have titanium valves and things like that, I'm sure.
Actually, are they? I'm pretty sure they're titanium, yeah.
It's been to 11,000, I would figure.
Yeah, but it's just, the whole thing is a work of art. And to actually get to see it in person, it's almost like when you see it, if you didn't know what it was, you'd be able to look at it and see that something's slightly off. Things are a little bit bigger. Everything is a little bit beefier. The oiling system is a little bit different.
So that whole build series is on Engine Labs right now. You can go check it out.
Well, actually, no. We have two articles on the valve train of it, and then we have the actual video of it going to 11,300 on the dyno. Not the Spintron, because he's done that on the Spintron, but we have it actually on the dyno.
Guys, we'll go ahead and drop the links to those in the comment section. So if you guys want to check out the video or the articles on that valve train, you can go ahead and check them out in the comment section below.
Yeah, it's a very cool series.
That's awesome, man. Just thinking of I feel like we're in competition now, dude. I have to think of all the cool stuff that Street Muscle has going on, which is not hard. We're always doing cool stuff, right? Stuff that I have coming up personally for the title that I'm really excited about. I was actually on the phone with you when I got the email to RSVP to go test drive, not only test drive, but like track test the new 2020 GT500 at Sonoma Raceway, which is going to happen in April. Thank you so much, Ford, for putting that on and inviting me. So keep an eye out for that, you guys. That's going to be coming down months later. But
that's bucket list, though, right there. That's a bucket list item. That's amazing,
dude. I've been around Sonoma Raceway a handful of times in a Mustang GT, Pro Charged Mustang GT, and a Pro Charged 6th Gen Camaro. We were there for a Pro Charger event, and they were showcasing their 50 state legal kits. It was a fantastic event, and there's an article on Street Muscle Mag. You guys can check it out. It's I'll put that one in the link below as well. I forgot the title, but basically it highlights my trip. But I went around as a passenger, and it was raining. And so, it was fantastic. I was like, but I'm a terrible passenger, bro. I'm like, hey, man, you should slow down. I know you're a professional, but, let's take it easy.
Your foot through the floorboard trying to press the brake.
There's a puddle right there, bro. I don't know if you saw that or not. So I'm a terrible passenger, but I love driving around a racetrack. So this is like you said, bucket list, man. I'm totally looking forward to it. But in the short term, what we have cooking, you guys can check out. Let's see. We just published the latest edition of Rob's car movie review. Rob Finkelman is one of our freelancers. He's a great guy. He went to NYU Film School for a long time, and he put together this. He does every month a column on different car movies, and this time it was Ford versus Ferrari. So I know that there's, you've all been inundated with a bunch of Ford versus Ferrari, articles and reviews and stuff. But Rob isn't actually. He's actually a trained. He's trained in film. And so he knows what he's talking about. Give it a read. It's really good. What else do we have?
I would honestly say read all of Rob's stuff because all of his reviews are awesome. It might be a movie that you're like, yeah, I've read every review. Read his stuff. Yeah,
he has a different take on it. And, he mentions things that other reviewers don't. They look at it from a car guy perspective or ladies' perspective, and Rob looks at it from a filmmaker's perspective as well as a car aficionado. And then we also have we have a really interesting article about exhaust gaskets from Taylor. Taylor Cable Products has actually launched a new line of gaskets, and dude, I had no idea that there was so much tech that went into different gasket types. As far as like everything else, it has progressed rapidly over like the past decade or so. And so there's a lot to be learned there. Check that one out. And,
it's funny you mentioned that because I know I'm just dragging stuff on when we're trying to wrap up.
No, that's cool, man. You're good.
But gaskets, other than head gaskets, because head gaskets are kind of, hot topic. But gaskets are unsung heroes. There's a lot of technology and they get no appreciation. They're Rodney Dangerfield. They get no respect. But seriously, they are. And I've got an article on my rundown for intake gaskets. And it's nuts. People need to appreciate them more.
Yeah, there's so much tech that goes into it. There's so many different materials to choose from, and that's what the article seeks to answer. I worked closely with these guys to answer some common questions that I think our readers would have. And that's hey, with so many options, like how do I know which one's right for me? How do I know which one to get for my car? And we dive deep and we answer all those questions. So check that one out. And then lastly, the latest article I have that I'm really excited about is a feature article that I did on Mike Copeland of Arrington Performance, his Dodge Rampage that he built for SEMA last year, called Outrage.
That thing is cool.
Yes.
That thing is cool.
I got a in-depth interview with him while we were at SEMA. And I've been so busy with so much other stuff that I'm just finally getting around to finishing this article, but I'm really pleased with it. It was a fun one to write, and he's such a cool guy. I can't wait to publish it. So keep an eye out for that, guys. And next week we're gonna have a similar episode. I told you guys last episode 2, that we were gonna be doing this bi-weekly, but Greg and I decided to expand and do it weekly because it doesn't take too much time out of our day, and it's relevant. It keeps there's so much happening in the industry that it kind of warrants doing it every week. And so next week, I think we're gonna have another guest on, someone in-house. So keep an eye out for that. We'll go noon Friday, same as always. And do you have anything else, Greg?
No, I think you summed everything up pretty succinctly. Yeah.
Before I let everybody go, this is like a different topic entirely, but it's related. Greg, I'm a big motorcycle guy, and you guys have probably been seeing this here in the background. It says Easy Riders. I was a longtime reader. They just recently relaunched, and I got a chance to go to their launch party under new ownership. They launched issue number 1, and Norman Reedus is on the cover. Did Did I cut out,
we're
Greg?
losing you.
Okay.
Yeah, you did a little bit, but
How are we looking, Greg?
I think you're frozen, but I think the internet is telling us it's too long.
Okay.
There you go.
So
back.
anyways,
You're back.
check it out.
And you're
Issue number 1. Norman Reedus is on the cover. Oh goodness. Well, anyways, check it out, everybody. It's a great periodical. I think they're going to come out quarterly. Norman Reedus is on the cover. You guys know him from The Walking Dead, but keep that on your radar. Just know that Easy Riders is back, and if you're into motorcycles, check it out. And that's all I have to say, Greg. Tune in next week at Friday, noon Pacific Central Time. Peace out, guys.
All right. Later, guys.